Hello Baggies, welcome back to the Lord's My Shep-pod. It's certainly been a while. We took our time moving from episode 6 to 7, but we're here now and we've got a cracker to get us back into the swing of things. Just a little recap, the Lord's My Shep-pod dives deep into the hypothetical world of Albion stars, past and present, finding out about all of their dream matchday scenarios. From the perfect roomie to the perfect gaffer, to the perfect moment in a match, imagination runs free in the official club podcast, with a fair share of games and challenges thrown in for good measure too. I'm Mulholland, and I'm joined as always by our co-host, former Baggies midfielder, and the incredibly enthusiastic half of WBA Radio, Mr. Andy Johnson. And joining AJ and I for the 7th episode is a man who became a firm fans' favourite in the 1990s, signing from Newcastle United in 1993 and staying for 5 years before going on to sign for Charlton. He made over 220 appearances for the Baggies, scoring just shy of a century of goals. We're delighted to welcome Andy Hunt back to West Bromwich Albion. Andy, thank you for joining us. You're a guest on our podcast, but you've come on 5 minutes ago and you said, tell me all about the podcast. You haven't had a brief, have you?
You didn't prepare me very well for this, did you?
That's how we like it.
You must have missed the memo.
In at the deep end. No, but I don't know why it took you so long to invite me.
Well, you've been in Belize, haven't you?
You lost my location, huh?
Yeah, we did. we lost your address somewhere in Belize. Mm-hmm. I believe you've been over there for a good few years.
20 years, yeah. But now in Amsterdam, so in the Netherlands, and back to see what's going on. And it's great to be here looking around the training ground. It's a little bit different. With me and Darryl just walking around the place, looking at all the surroundings here now and reminiscing about our days. Not quite at this training ground, but just around the corner, and the days when we used to do our thing. Yeah.
And is this the first time you're meeting the man opposite you, Andy Johnson?
Indeed, he's got a reputation, so I'm hoping. No, but I know his voice very well. All good. I watch the games on live. I watched the Ipswich game last week, and I'm well used to hearing Andy's voice, as is everybody.
Good. So it should be.
Well, just to recap again, Andy, this is your dream hypothetical match day. So lots of hypothetical scenarios. We'll get to know a little bit about you. There's some challenges thrown in as well. It's the Battle of the Andes at half-time. And then famously at the end, we've got AJ's full-time challenge where you've got to name as many Albion players, past or present, in 30 seconds as possible. So,
and what's a good number for that?
Well,
I don't know. Don't 15? Say anything. Let's not say anything because I don't want to put you under pressure.
Well, like I said earlier, I definitely can do 3.
Yeah.
Andy Johnson, Andy Hunt, and Darryl Burgess. There you go.
Okay. That would be enough to secure you last.
All right. Okay. I need one more to get into.
You need a few more to push up to
second
mid-table.
bottom. All right.
But out of interest, what do you think a good number would be? You've asked us the question, so we put it back to you.
Well, like you say, it sounds easy. I've already got in my head I've got all the teams that I played for here over the 5 years. So here's my plan. I'm gonna go for the goalkeepers.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna go for the defence.
Like that.
Midfield and attack. Or I might do the attackers.
We could have a new champion here.
I think I fancy myself to do well.
I think we've got a new champion in the making.
Well, we'll see. We'll come to that in a bit. Just to start us off, a little brain teaser for you both. So I want both of you to have a little think about this. You have both had the pleasure of playing with Super Bob at the Albion. At the end of the show, I would like you guys to let me know how many goals you think Bob ended up scoring across his 2 spells at West Bromwich Albion in total. So don't give me an answer now. Have a little think about
how many years was he here for his first spell?
It was a good 5, 6, maybe even more.
I think it was longer because I left. No, hold on. He went to Bolton. No, me and him left at the same time. That's right. Me, Bob, and I think even Pesh. Did Pesh even go at the same? Because basically we gutted the attacking line, So Bob would have been here 6 years then. And then I don't know how long he was when he came back.
Came back for about 3.
3 years, yeah.
About 3 years. About
9 years.
With you, AJ.
That's a good stint. Yeah. Well, what's that, 9 years?
9 years.
So 9 years.
He got 40 odd the first season.
He must 46 or 47.
He must have averaged 20 a season, I would think, over that time.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to you both at the end of the episode. And I
just got to work out what 20 times 9 is now.
Oh, gosh.
See how close.
Find the calculator on my phone.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Right. Should we get started?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Right, first up, Andy, you have the opportunity to room with any football player, past or present, before the big game. Who are you choosing and why?
Okay, past or present. I think just because of the hype and the razzmatazz, I think I'm going to have to go for Haaland. He's a beast, isn't he? And just to get into his head and see what's going on there, and you could probably learn a lot from him as well, eh? So I think I'd probably go for him. He's
really critical of himself, isn't he? For his, if he misses or doesn't score, is that something you were when you were playing? If you say you missed not a sitter, because I couldn't score for toffee, but what you would class as a sitter, would it beat you up?
100%. If let's say I'd scored a hat trick and we'd won and it was a good game and everyone was happy and the gaffer was happy, and I'd go home and I'd go to bed at night and I would be dreaming about exactly what you said.
Is there any particular one? Have you got one? I don't want to put you on the spot. Is there one that you think that haunts you even now after being retired for years? Is there?
There's a couple. I can tell you one here and one at Charlton. So obviously, it wasn't a sitter, but I can tell you the howler was the penalty against Wolves. We'd gone on this run that had never been done before in football, 13 games, but it wasn't a winning run.
Yeah,
it was a losing run, and the pressure was mounting. The manager was bringing in. He was trying everything. He ended up bringing in psychologists to talk to us. Which back then we didn't know what a psychologist.
I bet that was interesting.
We thought it was to cut your toenails. Yeah. But we couldn't buy a point. It was just. It wasn't like we were playing badly, but it just luck was against us. I mean, not totally. I mean, of course we were not the best team at that particular time, but we just seemed to just get a lot of bad luck coming our way. And then we played Wolves at home. Of course, that's the biggest game of the year for us.
Of course.
Penalty, and in front of the Smethwick end, 8,000 is it? I can't remember now, Wolves fans. And I hit the softest, weakest. I used to just kind of come up and open up and side foot the ball. I normally would go to my left. And I barely got it off the centre of the goal.
Is that one of those ones you wish you played rock, paper, scissors for then?
Exactly. I was waiting for the hole to open up, and I bet head in hand. So that's not a sitter, is it? That's a penalty. But then from giving you the next one is I'll probably say Charlton. When I played a game for Charlton and we were in the Premier League and I'd scored 2. We were 3-something up, I think. And in the second half, a ball came across and I must have missed from about 2 yards a header. Missed the goal completely. So just because of the moment, right?
Yeah,
you just wish, hat-trick at Arsenal, hat-trick at Highbury. That's something special, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We've all done it though, haven't we?
No, I haven't. No. I never get that far forward, to be honest.
You were holding midfielder, were you?
Most of my goals were flukes as well.
Andy, what's this rock, paper, scissors story that AJ just brought up?
Yeah, it's obviously we all remember Ian Hamilton with fond memories, and player I played a lot of football with in my time here, and we were playing Norwich City at home, and I think we were 4 or 5 up at the time. We were absolutely hammering them, weren't we, Andy?
Yeah. I played.
Do you remember the game?
I don't. It's one of those I've erased from my memory.
Convenient. You do that, don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
I have to watch games now sometimes, and I watch it, and I'm like, I saw a goal I scored against Derby, and it was a cracker and 25 yards, and I'd totally forgotten about it. That's not one I should be erasing.
No.
But anyway, to get back to the rock, paper, scissors. So I'd scored 2, and I was the penalty taker at the time, and Hammy had scored 2, Pesh had scored 1, and Hammy's like, I'm taking the penalty. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'm taking the penalty. And we weren't getting any solution to that answer. And, of course, the ref's like, who's taking the penalty? So Pesh went, rock, paper, scissors, boys. little bit disrespectful, I think, to Norwich. I think at the time, but you know,
I don't think it mattered. We were 4 and 5-0 down. So, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And of course, Hammy won the rock paper scissors and then missed the penalty.
That's great. Do you think that the game's changed that much? Do you think that would never happen again now, would it? I mean, it
could not happen.
It'd be picked up on a camera somewhere and you'd be annihilated as a player,
You'd
wouldn't
be
you?
killed for
yeah,
that.
you would.
I mean, that's not right, is it, doing that kind
It's
of
not,
thing?
but do you know what? It is funny. And I think, you know, that's where football's changed. I think it's always been serious, but, you know, you were allowed a little bit of something a little bit of something in there, you know, a little bit of artistic license, if you like, just to make it fun and enjoyable.
Indeed, yeah. I kind of cringe a little bit thinking about that story now and everything. I feel like it is a little bit disrespectful towards Norwich to be doing that kind of thing, and especially Norwich is my hometown.
Yeah, we were talking off air. You're a Norwich player. Of course, I grew up there as 16 to 21, I think.
Yeah.
Great city.
Yeah,
great
Norwich
city.
is
A lot of fun.
Norwich is a lovely place. And I used to go when I was working there when I was about 18, 19. I was going in, like you said,
I remember you coming in.
Yeah, and but sadly I didn't quite get the opportunity.
So Erling Haaland is your answer for your dream roomie night before a game?
Yeah, he's going to be the best player ever, isn't he? So why not?
Yeah.
Let's lock him in. Yeah. Erling Haaland, first answer. Should we move on to question 2?
If it's easier.
Let's go. Dream gaffer.
I'm going to go Carlos Corberán because I'm right here.
There we go.
I'm not sucking up to West Brom.
Is he still here? Is Carlos still here, Andy? Andy
stood behind him.
He wants a game.
He stood behind him. He's just been in the gym.
He's just gone to the bank to
been in the
drop
gym
off
with
the money.
He's in the gym with Hef having balls thrown at him. Come back next week.
No, what a job he's doing. What a job he's done at West Bromwich Albion since coming in.
You know, I'm not just saying that. Well, I am saying it because I follow West Brom, but I got nothing but just incredible praise for the job that he's done in the year, because I've been really closely watching the team this last year, and what he's done with this group of players is just, we need to find out, right?
Yeah.
We need to go watch the training and find out what he's doing, because there's something going on here that the players look, they believe, don't they? They look good,
and there's a togetherness, isn't there? That's come from it. You know, it's unbelievable the job that's being done here at the moment by the gaffer and his staff as well. You know, you've got to give everybody a bit of credit. I mean, they're a management team, I guess, and they all bring something. But yeah, what a job!
Yeah.
What a job!
Yeah, and so just he epitomised. You know, you've got obviously people like Pep and Klopp and all these guys who are doing things on a whole other level, and De Zerbi and whatever. Did I say that right?
You did.
I did.
Roberto De Zerbi.
De Zerbi. But of course, with my attachments to the Albion and I just think Corberán is in that mould. He's a tactical genius, and now there's just so much more to it than just than that. You know, obviously with injuries and things, it's been a bit of and then club ownership issues and whatever. But I totally impressed with the guy. So it'd be great to just spend some time and pick his brains. I speak a little Spanish, so we might get on quite well.
You might well do. just on the tactics, Andy, you say there he's a tactical genius. I know that football has moved on so much, let's say the last 5 years, let alone the last 20.
Yeah.
But can you spot, as a former player, what Carlos is trying to do tactically with this West Bromwich Albion team, or have tactics in the game evolved to a point where even you guys that have played professional football at the highest level, that you're still looking at that going, I don't really understand why he might be there or why they might be playing in this kind of way? How do you guys see it?
I think from my point of view, I think substitutions wise, you know, the way he chops the team around a little bit, it's very clever. That, you know, he's obviously resting players, but he's also looking at how teams finish in games and things like that. And all of a sudden you bring in, I don't know, Sarmiento on, for instance. I mean, we were on the radio saying, why is he not starting? Why is he not starting? Look, we don't see him day in, day out. The manager does. You know, the gaffer makes the choice, obviously. But I think he just has this. He looks at the game over the full 90 minutes, and it's not just the players that are playing. He looks at the substitutions and the impact they can have. And he's very, very good at it. And generally, when he does make a substitution, it really does have that desired impact, you know. And I think, you know, we've gone away to teams and we've set up, and I mean, even now, I mean, you're an ex-player, I'm an ex-player, and Jez has played the game and knows a lot about the game, but you look at the team, you think, I've got no idea what formation we're going to play here.
Yeah.
And it depends on when we've got the ball, whether we haven't got the ball, depends on the shape of the team. And just lately, we've noticed it's sort of Connor Townsend and Darnell Furlong in particular have been playing when the ball's down the other side, they've been playing centre midfield.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, that's like brilliant. And it balances the team.
You mean when the Albion on the attack?
Yeah, when we've got the ball, and you're
The
going
fullbacks
down.
are
Yeah,
kinda
so if you've got like, if say, for instance, I don't know, let's say Connor Townsend's going down the left wing.
Yeah.
Darnell Furlong's in the middle of the park playing centre midfield.
Well, this is a modern phenomenon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was at Ajax. I was watching young Ajax play in the Netherlands, and watching this left back, and it's he was doing it from the other
that's right,
side.
Yeah.
So he was playing as a holding midfielder when they were attacking.
Yeah.
2 centre halves and a holding midfielder was the left back, with the real holding midfielder.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and it's sort of what Spurs are doing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Liverpool used
Well,
to
they're
do
all
it
doing
as
it.
well,
All the
don't
top
they?
teams
Yeah,
are doing this thing with the fullbacks, it seems. We never did anything like that. I mean, but although to be fair, we did have, when we watched some of the videos when I was playing, we played as like with Ozzy. I was just reading Ozzy's chapter in one of his books, and he was talking about when he came, he just wanted to play the diamond, 2 centre halves. And we had like Stevie Lilwall and Wayne Faraday and fullbacks, and he said that space wide was for them to run into, and they did. So all of this stuff was going on back then, but I guess they've just evolved it a slightly bit further. Certainly, my understanding of the game is definitely more focused on the attacking side as a striker, and it's really interesting because nowadays it seems to be just one striker up top, right?
Yeah.
Most teams like to play the 3.
How would you have dealt with that as a striker?
Well, I've pondered this question a few times. It's like, would I even play these days? I think I would, but it would be challenging. And I did it when Ray Harford was here, and Ray was definitely a master tactician. I mean, he was the best coach I played for at the Albion. Sadly, he didn't stay very long, but I think we played Forest away, and Ray said to me, "Andy, you're playing up front on your own." And I've been brought up 4-4-2, as I'm sure you have, Andy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
4-4-2. And I said to him, and I just looked at him with this sort of blank face. Because I was a young lad, it's like we weren't very tactically, well, I wasn't very tactically astute. I mean, you're trying to learn the game, but I'm sure that, nowadays it's like, Ian was just telling us about how they get their little 15-minute before the training, little 15-minute after the training, just discuss everything. Yeah. I would have loved that. That would have been great. But Ray said to me, so this is all communication and information for the players, but we didn't really get anything like that. But now it's just a non-stop drip of information, right? And so Ray said, go, you're up front on your own. I'm like, what does that mean? I hadn't a clue. Didn't have a clue
I'll be
what
lonely.
it meant. Yeah, what does that mean? And he said, look, it's pretty simple. He says, you're good at holding up the ball. He said, just do that. Keep the ball for us to allow us to move up the field. And he said, because I used to run the channels a lot. I was a bit of a live wire, I used to like the running part of it. And he said, but don't run the channels. He said, just stay, between the width of the penalty box. Yeah. And that's your job. And that's the modern striker. I
wonder how you would have got on playing up front by yourself.
I wouldn't have done it. I'd have refused. I'd have got far too lonely. I need people around me, Jez. I get bored otherwise. I'd have been making daisy chains and things like that. I couldn't play up front anyway. Struggle to play in the middle of the park, let alone.
I think that's a solid answer, Andy. Carlos Corberán for you, Dream Gaffer. Perfect answer. Next one, stadium. I'm guessing a lot of the stadiums that you played at, Andy, and even you, Andy, a little later in the career, weren't you, compared to when you guys first started, but a lot of them would have changed now into modern arenas. Mm-hmm. Can you think of any that you played at that are still virtually the same?
Gosh, that's 30 years ago, 25 years ago. You'd hope there aren't too many that we played in that are still the same. They should have evolved. And I mean, a lot of the stadiums, like Sunderland's and, when Stoke moved out, didn't they? And things like this. So I'm not really sure. I know I would have loved. I went back to because I had 2 years at Newcastle, and that was about 27,000, I think, when I was there. But they were only half filling it because they were struggling. I went back there with Charlton and played, and I kind of looked up, and I still hadn't seen the top of the stadium. I look up again. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's like
the away fans are up there, aren't they?
Yeah. So I think going to St James's Park and playing there would be pretty amazing now because I know the Geordie fans and they are super passionate, like beyond passionate.
Yes, they are.
So I mean, there's the game. They beat PSG, didn't they, at home? Didn't they?
Did.
Yeah. And the clips that went around social media and stuff of the stadium, it just gave me goosebumps just listening to it.
Yeah. I know that's one of your favourites as well, Andy, isn't it? St James's.
St James's, I love it up there.
Yeah,
love it. Like you said, I'm all about the atmosphere. I actually prefer the older grounds, like Highbury. I used to love Highbury, the traditional Highbury. Goodison Park, I loved it there because the atmosphere in these places, and Anfield as well was another one where there was always a great atmosphere. But a lot of these new stadiums, they don't. I mean, Pep's been calling for it with Man City, hasn't he? The Etihad saying, I want a bit more atmosphere in here. I don't know. It's because of the way football's going. Is it too many prawn sandwich brigade in there for corporate? Instead of getting the real fans in there, because football's expensive. It's a lot of money to take your family, week in, week out to games nowadays.
Absolutely. And I mean, I don't, fair play to the fans because they keep shelling
That's
it
right.
out.
Oh, they do, yeah.
And it's an expensive hobby.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, we were down at Cardiff on Tuesday night, weren't we? And I mean, how many did we have down there? Was it 1,500 or something like that?
It was a little less than that.
Just
over 1,000.
Just over 1,000. But Tuesday night, Cardiff away in the rain, freezing cold.
It's insane.
I mean, and they turn up week in, week out.
Many. Yeah. But Albion have always had a very good travelling support.
Yeah, they have.
They?
Yeah,
and also things are going pretty good at the moment as well, aren't they?
So they're not too bad.
Yeah, life's all right, isn't it?
Yeah,
the Hawthorns.
So are we locking in that answer then? St James's Park?
Well, we could keep going all day because there's loads of stadiums. But I'll give you one more. I went to Mexico City and played went and watched a couple of games there. The Azteca.
Oh wow! What was that like?
I mean, I can't even put it. It wasn't. We looked around. I think it was Pachuca were playing, not Azul, because there's two teams that share the stadium. Club Azul and. God, what's that? I should remember the name, shouldn't I? Did you see if you'd have given me time, I could have had all this stuff prepared. There was 27,000 people in the stadium. It looked totally empty.
Yeah. What does it hold?
It's huge, isn't it? It's close to 90. Isn't it?
I think it's about 89 now. I think when it's the Hand of God Stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
It?
Yeah.
And when they were there, I think it was 100 almost, I believe. And they're saying it's a bit run down, and it is a little bit. But it's going to be one of the stadiums for the next year's for the next World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it Mexico, Canada, and the US? I think.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, 2026.
Yeah.
What a great venue that'll be.
I paid. It was talking about how expensive it is. I just went on Ticketmaster because we were visiting some friends in Mexico City, and I was like, man, I got to go check out a game here, So I said to my son, "You want to go watch the match?" He's like, "Yeah." I went online. It was $10 to go to watch La Liga Mexico.
Wow.
$10.
I mean,
this is ridiculous.
This is the first time I've met you, and you're blowing my mind a little bit. And as much as you're a young lad from Norfolk, growing up in this little town, yet you've got friends in Mexico City, and you live in Belize.
Well,
what happened?
Yeah,
where did your journey? How did this journey start? I mean, it's incredible, isn't it?
It is, but I got to travel all over England before I did all that. Going from Norfolk to Newcastle. That's one end to the other.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That feels like going to another country. You've heard how the Geordies speak, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Took me a year before I could understand them. And then Birmingham, obviously. Yeah. So I've gone to the north, to the Midlands, then down to Charlton. So no, I've never had a problem with moving places and traveling. I enjoy it. I love to meet. It's nice experiencing different cultures and different people. Definitely. I used to love, hanging out spending time with the foreign lads that used to come into the clubs. When I came, obviously we had Sneaks, a legend here, and just used to get on great with him. And when I went to Charlton, we had people like Martin Pringle and Klaus Jensen, Danish and Swedish players and stuff. So it was just great learning a little bit. But you know, just learning just from the football point of view, it was just nice meeting people who I hadn't grown up playing football with that you learn off of. So when I went to Newcastle, you know, you learn off of Quinny, Mickey Quinn. When I came down here, I would say Bob was probably my biggest mentor. I learned so much from playing with him. And you know, and then other great strikers here, and then down to Charlton. So this sort of travel thing is I've always been really open to learning and meeting new. Yeah,
it's a great story.
Experiences.
Next one before the halftime whistle. Just a little bit on the music side. Are you big into your music, Andy? And if so, what would be on your pre-match playlist to get you going for a game?
I would say I love a bit of Rolling Stones and Queen. Yeah. So anything by them. We were doing a supporters club last night, and somebody was talking about Matty, the DJ, was talking about how Bucks wanted him to play. Was it We Will Rock You? Or it was We Will Rock You, and Matty's like, nah, it's the Liquidator. And he's like, no, I'm not. I don't want you to play the Liquidator. I want We Will Rock You. So Matty refused to do it, and I actually thought We Will Rock You is a pretty good one to come out to. We Are the Champions, something like that. Yeah, and of course anything by the Rolling Stones for me is good.
Yeah, Liquidator is so popular at the Hawthorns. Like, you love it, don't you?
Yeah,
you get
gives me goosebumps
when the Liquidator comes
that
out.
And Barbie Girl.
Come on, Andy. Let's go,
Let's
Andy.
go party. God, I hope my mum's not watching this.
Oh dear, what on earth is this? Who invited him? Who invited him? Did you guys have anyone that was in charge of pre-match music in the dressing room or anything like that? Was that a thing when you were playing, Andy?
Well, we weren't like the crazy gang at Wimbledon, right? With their big boom boxes and stuff. Do you know, I can't even remember. I don't know. I was in my own world with warm-ups and you know, you just come in there. I definitely sort of zoned out a lot of stuff when I'd arrive at the game. It was just my mind was fully focused. You know, bombs could have gone off around me. It's like people say to me, "How was it when you were playing in a really loud stadium?" You know, or if you played at St James's Park in front of 55,000. And I'd be like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I didn't hear it.
No,
I totally zoned. And I know not everybody's like that, but that was how it just. I didn't consciously do it. So yeah, I don't know. Could have been. I can't remember who was doing that. Andy.
Oh, God knows who did it. I think Daniel Dickio was probably involved somewhere along the line. But again, it wasn't the sort of music I listened to. To be fair, it was
Barbie Girl.
No, that was a joke, barbecue. But
well, we do.
Yeah, it's like you say. I mean, you zone out, don't you, a little bit? You know, you got the ones that go quiet in the dressing room before a game, want to concentrate. You got the ones just bouncing off the walls. That was me. You got the ones that sit there with their headphones on. I mean, you know, you see it on the coach now, don't you? The players, how different it is. I mean, you don't see them playing cards, I don't think, or you know, they've all got their headphones on, their laptops
in their own world.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I am good buddies with DJ Burgess, so I'm pretty sure he would have been the man given the responsibility for sure, right?
So we're going to go with the Rolling Stones and Queen.
Yeah, let's do that.
There we go, halfway stage. And now this is the part, Andy, where you get to challenge the other Andy. That opposite you. He hasn't got a very good record at this. I'll put it out there.
I've got a shocking record at this.
What is it, arm wrestling on a podcast?
That's all. Think Derby, Premier League season, record low of points. That is the equivalent of challenge AJ at half-time.
Listen, I'm not here to make anybody look bad. I'm here to make you look good. So
victories at
all.
You
got to be nice to your guests, right?
So the whole idea of this, there are 3 topics, and there are 5 questions in each topic. You get to pick one as the guest. To answer a question, if you think you know the answer, you would shout out Andy. AJ would shout out AJ. Whoever shouts out their name first gets first bite at it. If you get it wrong, it automatically goes over to the opposite member to try and get the points. Obviously,
Do I really need to remember all those rules? This sounds a bit like...
If you know the answer, shout your name.
Yeah.
I've made it very
Jez has made it very complicated.
This sounds a little bit like Carrot in a Box from 8 out of 10 cats. Have you seen that one?
Listen, all I'm saying is I have to try and be as precise as possible because look at the guy that I'm working with.
Okay.
It's very,
How's it end up my fault again?
very, very confused.
If you know the answer,
You know
shout
the
out Andy.
AJ's full-time quiz. I have to print it off for him every single time. So there it is.
Have you given him the answers already?
This is how blind I am. You can read that from there.
That's size 48 font on Microsoft Word. That is.
And I still can't read it.
He moaned about
one letter on each A4, is it?
Yes. Can you cover one eye, please, sir? read from the top.
Right, Andy. Here are the 3 topics. You can pick one. We've got the mystery round. We've got 90s football, and we've got football Andys, as we have 2 Andys at the table today. So which one of those would you like to take on?
I mean, how many football Andys are there? And there's 2 of us sitting here, so we're going to know the answers to those. So let's go. I mean, let's go. It's a football podcast. Let's go 90s football, and that's our era.
Do you want a 5-0 victory, or do you just want... Will you take 3-2, or do you want 5-0? Do you want to batter him?
Yeah, let's grind him into the ground.
Yeah, I like it. No mercy.
Striker, attackers.
What are you getting involved for? You'll be gone. You'll be here on your own in a bit. Don't forget, we got a Christmas party tomorrow night.
We have.
And I usually end up carrying you home.
Less of that. Right, shall we start? Right, question 1. How many FIFA Men's World Cups were there played in the 1990s?
AJ. 2.
AJ gets it wrong. A typically poor start from the man to my right-hand side, which means the question goes over to the left. Put that phone away.
Can you give me the... what's the Wi-Fi login?
Andy Hunt, put your phone
Oh,
away.
look, I've actually got Andy's Wikipedia page
Oh, dear,
up here.
put that
Look,
away.
look
wow.
at this.
That won't be...
66 appearances for Norwich. 14 goals. Not bad.
14?
That's what it says. I thought you said you didn't score goals.
I find that hard to believe.
I retired after.
Oh, you
It was
forgot.
all in one season, that was.
You forgot.
That's when I got my move to Forest and I retired.
It says you're 6'1" as well.
I've shrunk.
I haven't. You've been sat down the whole time since I've been here. So,
So AJ gets it wrong.
What was the question?
The question, how many men's FIFA World Cups were played in the 1990s?
Men's FIFA World Cup, so that'd be 90 to 99, right? You said 2, and that was wrong.
Oh, no, why?
FIFA, is this a trick question?
No.
This is the question is the question, Andy. It's up to for you to decide whether it's a trick or question or not. Get my words out.
I'm going to have to say, nah, it couldn't be 3, is it?
It is, yeah. 1990, wasn't it? 1990, 94, 98.
Italia 90, USA 94, France 98.
Yeah.
3 World Cups in the 1990s.
I knew
So I
that.
get half a point for knowing the years?
No.
Oh, okay.
If you knew the years, why did you say 2?
I don't know. I have these like things in my head that talk to me, voices. And it said, say 2.
1-0 to Andy Hunt. Question 2. Which 2 players scored for Manchester United in the 1999 Champions League final?
Andy. What was the question again?
No, you can't have that again. No,
I've claimed the answer. I've claimed the right to answer.
answer them.
You said Man United in the 1990.
9 Champions League final.
Was it York and Solskjaer?
Incorrect. The opportunity to answer correctly
Can I have it again?
goes across to AJ. 2 players that scored for Manchester United in 1999 Champions League final. You've got to get both of them to get the correct answer here.
I wouldn't have a clue.
One of the most famous games in European football.
It's where they scored right at the end, wasn't it?
Paul
Wasn't it?
Scholes. Hold on, I haven't said the second one yet. This is brutal today.
Solskjaer's definitely one, isn't it?
So the opportunity goes back to Andy. So Solskjaer is 1.
Hold on a minute, that's it. I thought no points, move on.
No,
No,
come
it's
on.
until somebody gets
He's
it.
got to give a point to somebody. Solskjaer came off the bench, didn't he? I think. And scored like... I remember I was watching that in a bar in London. Unbelievable night. So it wasn't... I don't think it was a goal. It was... I'm going to say, was it Beckham?
We've got Daryl Burgess sat in the corner of this
With his hand up.
I know, give us a clue,
shaking
Burge.
his head in absolute disgust. Right, back to you, AJ. You've definitely got Solskjaer. We just need the other.
Two of the stupidest footballers doing this quiz, right?
Did he used to play for Tottenham as well?
I can't answer that. That's for you to answer.
Teddy
not me.
Sheringham.
Oh, good shout.
I'm really surprised it took you two that long to get.
I can't even remember
thought that was
1990.
really,
I was going
really-
through, a few problems in 1990.
Can we do mystery subject then instead?
Should have picked the two Andys. We know that. Me.
Oh, yeah. We know we'd have got two points.
Right. Question 3, 1-1. Which nation did England draw with in their first game at Euro 96?
Wow.
That's a ridiculously hard question.
It is, isn't it?
It
It's
is
a group stage game.
It is for a Welshman. So
That's true. Yeah, he probably wasn't
not
watching
Welsh.
it, was he? He's from Bristol.
You're more Welsh than me.
They drew with it in 96.
In their first group game.
Who was the manager back then?
Can I remind you, Andy, you are the one that picked 94.
I know.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to be talking about the championship.
I thought I'd make it easy for you. 1999 Champions
Okay,
League
let's
final.
start. Are we just going to keep going until we just shout random countries?
I'm going to
out?
say Sweden. Oh, I thought it was Sweden.
I'm going to say Italy.
Do you want a clue now?
Yeah.
Should we skip the
Yeah.
second guess?
Yeah,
for
just
both?
give us the clue.
This ain't going to be much of a clue, you know that.
Famous for chocolate.
Switzerland.
Cadbury's.
Was it?
Cadbury's.
Famous for chocolate.
If you know the answer, shout your name.
Andy.
Go on, Andy.
Switzerland.
Correct.
Hey!
When have they ever been
Honestly.
famous for... Well, you got Nestle, Cadbury's. I mean, Switzerland, famous for chocolate. Wow. I'm sure you make this up every
Please
week.
tell me you've heard of Swiss chocolate.
Of course, I just
thank
got the
you.
answer
I know
right.
Swiss Tony.
I'm going to buy you some of them for Christmas.
What about Swiss Tony?
I reckon there would have been you could have made a better clue for Switzerland. Well, maybe to help AJ, right? How could he have given you a clue for Switzerland? Big, high mountains.
Don't get involved.
Yeah.
Stay at home, Andy.
Yeah.
Just give Andy Hunt the
I
big
was
one.
thinking Cadbury's.
What's the score?
2-1 to you.
I thought I was going to do
This has
5-0.
been hard work.
I know, it's just.
That's your questions, that's why.
Right, I have no hope in either of you getting this this next one because it gets progressively harder as we go through the quiz.
Oh, my word.
Question 4. What was the first European club Brazilian legend Ronaldo, that's R9, the one who had the crazy haircut for the 2002
I know
World
this.
Cup, played for between 1994 and 1996?
Andy. I hope I've got this right.
Go on.
Is it PSV? Oh, how
You've
about
lost
that?
again.
That's only surprising. I didn't even know what you're on about. I thought it was bring Boaz
like-
back. Let's talk about food.
But he's like, Ronaldo plays for Portugal.
No, the Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
Oh, see, I didn't hear Brazilian. I just heard Ronaldo.
he had a pretty good record at PSV, I have to say.
I'm still stumped over Cadbury's playing in the European Championships.
Yeah. They played Bourneville United, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
On the wreck.
Yeah.
3-1 to Andy. That means another defeat for you, AJ, and I can't say I'm surprised. We have some
We've still got one question left, yeah?
but you're not going to win, are you?
I might if I get a bonus point.
What, is it double points, is it, for this
Might
one?
be, yeah.
Oh.
Last goal wins. 10-0 down.
Right, question 5. Let's wrap this up as quick as we can. Albion beat Port Vale in the 1993 playoff final at Wembley. Who did Vale get past in the semis?
Oh, really? That's the question. This is an Albion podcast.
Yeah.
You couldn't have come up with something about the Wembley game
Well,
or our
it's
semi-final.
very loosely about the game, isn't it? Question 1 is easy.
We didn't encounter them until the actual...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Question
they
1
play?
should be easy, but it's still taking
AJ.
you to about 10 minutes.
Let's move this on. Sunderland. Good guess.
Preston.
Right, I'm going to step in. I'm going to give you a clue.
Okay.
This team plays in the northwest of England.
Where's that?
Don't say Liverpool or Man United. Preston. It's in the northwest, right? Is it? I think it is.
Preston classes as the northwest. Not the answer I'm after, though.
I did say Preston twice, so I get another go because
I don't know. No idea. Halifax. Is that the northwest?
No.
All right, another clue. They begin with an S.
Southampton. No. I'm going home.
What is wrong with you today?
Oh dear.
Come on then. Northwest begins with an S. Begins with an S and ends in Stockport.
Stockport.
Hey!
Yes.
We got there in the end.
I scored back-to-back.
It's not really northwest, is it? I mean, you call that northwest, do you? I'm thinking up right
What
up.
do you call it?
Well, I'm thinking up like Barrow-on-Furness and places like that.
That's too north. That's northwest.
All right, okay.
Three.
No, we didn't get an answer.
No, you didn't. I'm
Nobody
going to
got
just
it.
call that 3-1. Nobody got the answer right for that one.
Well, look, I'm sure I got a bing off producer.
Yeah.
Luke. Oh, okay. Knock another one off.
It's a consolation being, isn't it? From
Okay.
Producer Luke.
It is.
Right. Should we kick the second half off?
Let's go.
Forget about that quiz very, very quickly.
Yes.
Don't we get half time? Can't we go get a team talk?
Yeah.
Who's
So-
your manager?
We had half time scheduled in.
I
But
think we need Carlos
that
in there to
quiz
give us
got-
time
Yeah.
for good talking.
We need a good slap, I think.
Yeah.
Wake us up.
Right, back to the dream scenarios. The perfect team talk that you would like to receive from a manager going out into the second half. Were you somebody, Andy, that really you had a really good reaction to a manager if you weren't playing great, saying, Andy, you can do better, you're a great player, try more of this, or did you respond well to a boot flying across the dressing room at you, a cup of tea being kicked at your forehead? What kind of player were you?
What a very interesting question, because me and Darryl had just been talking about this yesterday, and he was like, he says, I loved it if the manager had a go at me.
Yeah.
That used to rile me up and get me going, right? No, I was the opposite. I didn't need that. I didn't like it. I could handle it and take it. It wasn't a problem, but to me it just was a bit. It didn't feel like, it just didn't give me the motivation. So one of the best guys for that was Keith Peacock, and I was sitting with Keith on Tuesday night watching the Charlton game, and he said, and he's like, Andy, he says, I used to love to just. It's hard to explain, but he would just come and sit with you, and instead of having a go at you or whatever, he would just, in a really nice way, say to you something like, well, if you could hold the ball up a little bit, then perhaps we could get up the field and maybe, and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't it was a more of
Constructive.
Yeah. You're doing this wrong. If you could do better, then the team could do this, and this. So I like that. This is why I'm pretty sure this is the mindset of Corbyn and here, because I honestly believe that a lot of this communication with the players gives them more maturity and lets them take more responsibility for their own actions. And so I always preferred a coach that would not be nice to me, but just discuss it.
Do you think that sort of, I don't know, they call them dinosaurs, don't they? That sort of managerial style, then, if you like, is. Do you think that's in the game anymore? You don't see. Maybe in the lower leagues it might well be, but certainly in the higher standard of football you play, I don't think that the players would accept that from them. It would be difficult for a manager to come and try and rule with an iron fist, if you like.
Yeah.
The players, I don't think they would respond to that sort of managerial style. I think that it's evolved a lot. I mean, obviously you have to have the respect, and the line has to be there that you don't cross, and there can be a stern word. But throwing cups of tea at people, and you must have been in dressing rooms where players are fighting and and things like that. And it's okay to have the passion. You don't have to lose that, but there's just a channeled way of sort of dealing with it nowadays, rather than screaming and shouting. Because, like you said, I mean, I played under Mego, and I'm a bit like Burge. I used to love getting shouted and screamed at. I used to just giggle. I did inside, and it used to make me kind of, all right, I'll go and show you, sort of thing. But I think it loses its effect because when he comes in doing it every week, you kind of think, oh, here he goes again. And you kind of switch off. So you're actually not getting any benefit out of that. Whereas if somebody spoke to you, you know, on a level that you could absorb that information, then you at least you're getting something.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You can't use that as your everyday way to motivate players. But there are managers that I played with that was their way. I don't want to name names. Last night, we got asked the question, who was the worst manager? And it's like, no, I don't want to answer that. But Andy, you're totally right. It's like if you constantly use that stick to motivate the players, they ain't. Eventually, that stick, you need a bigger stick. So what are you going to do? You know, so you need. But I think nowadays the players from a youth level are brought up differently.
Yeah, they are.
So they respond to this communication and they respond to that discussion and whatever. And to be honest, probably now you might not. If you don't respond to that way, you probably ain't going to make it.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. I've not been in a dressing room for a while.
They get them so young. You're talking sort of 5-6-year-olds. You know, you can't scream and shout at them. So what's the point? You know, you start off with you look how English football's evolved over the years, how we've caught up with the Europeans. It's because we're getting the kids younger. They're being trained the correct way. You know, and part of that training is not just about the football side of it. It's about the coaching side of it. Yeah. About having to deal with humans and how to treat them with respect and sort of get your points across to them without this culture in football of sort of screaming and shouting, and you know that's not the way. It really isn't. You know.
Was there ever a manager that either of you were scared of? Not scared of as in he's going to hurt me, but scared to do something wrong, and you know you're coming in at half time, you know you've not played well, and you think, oh god, I'm in trouble here.
Well, if I go through the managers here, I mean Ozzy, no, he was. See, again, another conversation we had last night. Ozzy just got instant respect anyway, so you just respected him. He's a World Cup winner and an FA Cup winner and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to argue with him. It's like, okay, Gaffer, that's true. Yeah. Buckley used to do it a bit. He'd fly off the handle. Ray Harford, no, he wasn't like that. Who was the other coaches we had here? We had John Truick fill in a couple of times. So I would say Buckley was probably the most... what would be the word? He would be liable to kick off with us at half time or for any time. He was up for a row, but I wasn't scared of him. That wasn't. It didn't put the fear of God into me. But Keegan did at Newcastle, again because of his reputation, because he was Kevin Keegan, and he also didn't play me and he bombed me. So. Yeah, I was a bit scared of him, I suppose, because I was young, naive, you know, I was 21, 22. And when he came to the club, of course, he was a legend and he did amazing things there with the team. But he didn't give me a chance. And I just remember being petrified of making a mistake. And you can't play that way.
No.
You that's just a recipe for your game just spiraling downwards. And I wanted to prove myself, but... and I was trying to, and we went to Fiorentina, I think it was, away in the Anglo-Italian Cup, and he gave me my one chance there to play, and we came in at half time, we were losing, the game wasn't going well, and he just ripped into me, just me, and I'm sitting there going, I'm looking around like, what's happened? I was so discouraged and disappointed, and I was scared, and to be honest, that was probably the end of it for me there. So probably Keegan. And when I went to Charlton, I only played with Alan Kirbishley, and I got enormous respect for him. And he was of this other way, the way we were talking about, you know, him and Keith, and that they just had this great way of managing their players.
I think it's difficult as well, like Andy said. I mean, if Keegan would have fancied you and he's having a go at you, you can kind of take it a little bit more, but it depends on your relationship with the manager. You know, you're talking about sort of game time, you know, after a match, they come in and screaming, shouting. I mean, interesting enough, Arsene Wenger used to never, well, not that I ever played for Arsene Wenger, but knowing from stories of it, he'd never do a debrief after the game. The players wouldn't see him after. He'd go in the dressing room, but he wouldn't talk about the game. He'd go home, digest it, and then they'd have a meeting on the Monday or the next day, and they'd talk about the game then, because a lot of these managers, a lot of people, they fly off the handle with things they think it's happened, but actually when you review the game, and it's never quite as bad as you thought it was.
That's right.
And the person you're having a screaming and shouting at actually didn't play as bad as I thought he did, in real time. So it's always better just to, take back a little bit, step away, and then, review it the next day or something like that. And that's what Arsene Wenger does.
I think that's a really good point, that you need to reflect a little bit before you take action with that.
Yeah.
And definitely, perhaps like you said, perhaps watching the video, because we've all got our biases. We watch the game through our personal lens, right? So you've got what you want to see out of the game and what you're looking at. Every fan sees something differently, and so the coach coming in after the game and just flying off the handle, like AJ just said, he may have got it wrong, and that actually puts him in a bit of a spot.
Yeah,
because then what does he say on Monday?
Yeah,
if he sees some. Sometimes you see something and you don't even see what happened the right way. Yeah. I think that's why you see a lot of, especially with the VAR and the Premier League coaches, trying as best they can not to comment because they need to see this and review it. And football is an extremely passionate, volatile game. And when you come in at half time, you got 15 minutes, and it's like there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on in that dressing room. Whether you're winning, losing, or drawing, it doesn't matter. There's a lot going on. So you need to take that time to just allow everything to settle down, and then let's discuss it. But that's like, if that was Wenger's way, I mean, he was part of the revolution of what we see now.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm pretty sure you'll see that in the dressing room with Carlos Corberán. I don't know, but maybe one day they'll do a. What was that one? Wrexham to something? They might do West Brom to the Premier League or something like that, and we can get to see what's going on in the dressing room. But I would imagine that's his mindset too.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be, wouldn't it?
That'd
be good.
Lovely.
Can't you just put one of the iPhones in there with the camera rolling?
Your dream scenario, Andy, of scoring a goal. You can pick it completely how you want to. It can be a World Cup final. It can be a league title decider. It can be an FA Cup final.
Is this a new question?
No, we've had this one before.
Have we?
We've had this one before, yeah. But what would be your ideal way to score a goal? Who would it be against? What stadium would it be at? You may have already scored your ideal goal.
Gosh, that's something, isn't it? Well, I mean, it doesn't. Well, I suppose what would be the biggest game? Could that be maybe a Champions League final or a World Cup final, right?
Yeah.
So it's got to be one of those.
Or dads not versus the kids,
like Teddy Sheringham.
Competitive dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you're playing the under 11s, and you're the dad, right?
Yeah.
And then you rifle one in the top corner
against your son who's in goal.
Against your son,
your daughter who's in goal. Yeah.
This is scandalous. This conversation is going well the wrong way. So really, it's a toss up between a World Cup final and a Champions League final. Club versus country.
Club versus country. Yeah.
National pride versus you're playing with a team for a season and making the Champions League final. Well, I've never played. Okay, so I've never played in the Champions League, but I've never played in a short tournament like that, the World Cup. So I'm going to go to World Cup, and I'm English, so I'm going to go Wembley. I've scored at Wembley. There you go. I'll take that one.
You'd see that.
That's why I said.
No. But it wasn't a World Cup.
You may have already scored it.
It wasn't a World Cup. So, you know what? This podcast could go on forever. Let me just say, I did it. It happened. There's my dream scenario. Actually, you know what? It was.
I'll bet it was, yeah.
It was.
What was that feeling like?
Unbelievable.
Was it?
Yeah, scoring for the Albion. First goal, Wembley, you know.
Is it a different feeling to any of the other goals you've scored? I mean, at that precise moment.
Yeah.
Or is it the feeling grows as you think about...
It grows over time.
The hugeness of your goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was big.
Yeah,
you
massive.
know, it was big for West Brom. It was big for me.
Well, it's big for you, big for your teammates.
Big for the
fans,
teammates,
big for the history of the club. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah,
absolutely huge.
Yeah, so I was lucky that I got that opportunity, and I feel really honoured to be able to have scored, to have got that goal. The first one as well was pretty special. I think if the game, I mean, to be fair, we won that game very comfortably. I think it was we played really well, and Port Vale didn't really show up. But yeah, if it had been 2-2 and you score the winner, that would be even better, wouldn't it? 90th minute, because you go through like everybody talks about the Swansea game, the semi-final before, and all of that. I scored in that. Hammy scored, so that would have been a good one. But no, I think that's my answer. Yeah, how can I not say that, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect answer.
Great
I don't
answer.
think we can beat that.
No, I don't think that'll be beaten.
Brilliant.
Because of the personal sort of input on it. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Right, that brings most of the questions to a close. It's the full-time whistle. That means that we go into AJ's extra time challenge now. So I will hand over to AJ, who has got the sheet of paper printed off in front of him in extra big font so he can read it.
Have you seen the size of that?
Well,
he's done this on purpose. I'm not that bad. I really aren't. I'm not.
He's got a piece of A4 with about 4 words on it,
I'll go
and
to
it's
60.
full.
Size 60 font next time.
like
Over
one-
2 pages.
It's like 1 word per page.
Yeah.
Right. And
He's basically doing an eye test here.
It is. So you've got 30 seconds to name any Albion players, past or present, but they have to have made a first team appearance. No nicknames.
Not future players.
Well, no, they have to have played. So,
I was just trying to throw you a little bit.
no nicknames. Must have their full names.
Yeah.
Full names.
What, middle names as well?
Well, yeah, double barrel. We'll do what you need, but we must have full names.
Andrew James Johnson, I'll give you one.
AJJ.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so I'll count you in.
As many as possible.
Yeah, I'll count you in 3, 2, 1, and then obviously you'll hear the clock go, and you've got to go. There is usually at this point, there's usually a bit of discrepancy on how many you get. We've probably got 3 different answers, so we may have to check the video recordings afterwards just to come up with the final score.
No, I mean, this is really serious stuff.
This is serious stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lit. I mean, to be fair, do you want me to tell you what we've got so far? So Brunty is the leader with 25. So Dara was one of our first ones. I don't think we did it with Bob on the first one, did we?
Didn't do it.
Did you just say Chris Brunt?
Chris Brunt.
Awesome. That's
He's
one.
the leader. Dara. Dara was massively well.
Who?
Dara O'Shea.
Dara
got
O'Shea.
24. And then Brunty come in and beat him, I think.
Can you give me the list of all of the players?
That's all
that
I've
have
got.
Done it? You know what my first 2 and my next 3 are going to be, don't you?
What would you be happy? On a serious note, what would you be happy with here? Because
I mean, honestly,
you
if
played
I
for
don't
Albion for so long, Andy, and you say that you watch Albion religiously now almost every week, we'd expect you to be strong at this, given those 2 facts.
Oh, wow. No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, the problem is I don't always know all the guys that I know the full names of are the ones that I played with. Quite often I don't know all their full names. So
I'm going for 18. That's what I think. I think you're going to be strong. 18's a good score.
Huh?
18's a good score.
I fancy my chance to get close,
Okay.
but I could just go down in flames. So
Okay.
yeah.
So AJ's going to count you in. He's going to go 3,
Are you ready?
2, 1. Then you're going to hear a whistle, and from the whistle, you've got 30 seconds to name as many Albion players, past or present. We have got a few producers in the room, so if I
Andy
could
Hunt.
kindly ask
I'm
people,
Can we dim the lights, please?
my mind is mastermind. My mind
dim
is
the
like you said. Once you put on the spot,
Oh, it's once that ticket starts going in your ear. you go. Okay, so I'm going to count you in. Are you ready?
I'm trying to remember the first 2, the 2 that you just gave me.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, AJ Johnson, Andy Hunt, Daryl Burgess, Chris Brunt, Paul Pesky-Salido, Bob Taylor, Kevin Donovan, Paul Marden, Ian Hamilton, Paul Raven, Paul Groves, Kevin Bradley, Darren Bradley, Alan Miller, Nicholas Anelka. Where did that one come from? Wayne Faraday, Stevie Lilwall. I didn't do very well, did I?
Let's have a count.
Did I say your name? I did, okay.
Oh, the suspense.
I got about 15, didn't I?
17, I think.
I've got 16. Is that the same with the other
16.
producers in the room?
See, I said 18.
But, you know, I just want to say something. Chris works here, doesn't he?
He does.
Oh, allegedly.
Apparently. So
Sorry,
he
Brosy.
probably
Sorry, Chris.
he probably got a little heads up, didn't he, before the thing started. So how many would you do? Have you done it?
Of course he does. He practices all the time.
How many could I do?
Can we put him on the spot? Oh, but you've already been given. You've heard them all so many times.
Put
right?
me on the spot if you want.
Come on, let's put the host
I'll
on the
go
spot.
on the spot if AJ.
I'm
goes
not
on the
doing it.
spot.
Not a chance. I don't even know my kids' names.
We've got an Albion communications boss over here who's a fan.
I've been associated with the club for 15 years. This is really testing me now, isn't it? Here we
Come
go.
on.
Don't you love it? This
Here we
sort of
go.
thing. Okay.
Come on, AJ, take
Okay,
over and put him on the.
Jez Mulholland. Do you accept the challenge?
I accept the challenge.
Okay.
But he can't use any of the names that I just used because that's cheating, right?
Yeah. I don't think you. Right. You ready?
Yeah, my heart's going.
3,
Pressure,
2,
right?
This is fresh.
1.
Darnell Furlong, Shemi Ajayi, Kyle Bartley, Connor Townsend, Sam Johnston, Grady Diangana, Mateus Pereira, Nicholas Anelka, Shane Long, Chris Brunt, James Morrison, Gareth McCauley, Jonas Olsen, Liam Ridgewell, Nicky Shuri, Gonzalo Hara, Andwell Slorry, Yassine El Ganassi, Bob Taylor, Tony Brown, Jeff Astle, Andy Johnson, Andy Hunt, Daryl Burgess.
25.
25.
25.
Brilliant.
I've let myself down there, haven't I?
Absolutely
Mate,
brilliant.
I thought you'd have beat Bronte.
I've let myself down.
You hit a
Got
wall.
stuck.
You hit a wall, mate.
Put him on the wall of shame anyway. He gets his name on the
Got
list.
stuck. What?
Are you saying 24?
Are you counting the one that was right on the whistle? Yeah, I gave you Daryl Burgess. Okay.
I thought it was 25. Sorry,
Yeah.
mate.
Were you writing them down? Oh, you just. Yeah.
There you go. Brunty beats me.
Nah, pretty
There we go. 80.
outstanding.
18. That's a pretty good effort.
Yeah, it is. No, it
Pretty
is a
good
good score.
Yeah.
It wasn't 18, it was 16.
It puts you above Bomber and Boaz.
It was
Bomber.
16, Jez.
16, sorry.
And that puts me below.
Still,
Bomber.
still puts you above
Sorry, you've just dropped 2 places.
It still keeps you above Boaz and Bomber.
and where am I? Mid-table.
You are mid-table. You're
Poor performance.
nervously looking over your shoulder at the threat of relegation, but you're escaping it for now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, 16. 16.
It's funny, isn't it? Your mind really does go
Yeah, it
blank.
does.
All of a sudden, you feel good, and then you
Yeah.
go, right, I'm just going to count you down, and suddenly your brain drops out your head.
Yeah. It's that horrible ticking noise that producer Luke plays.
I know.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
you dealt with the pressure well. I reckon you could be a good penalty taker.
Oh no, keep me off penalties. Let's move on. Last question to finish off your dream match day. You've had the game. You scored your winning goal at Wembley. You've not had Kevin Keegan shouting at you. What is your go-to celebratory takeaway and drink?
Oh, I love a curry.
Good answer.
And it'll be a lamb balti. And I might have one this evening.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's in your mind now.
I haven't been to, it's, Birmingham. Birmingham is the home of the balti, right?
It is indeed.
So that's it. I will definitely be having a lamb balti to celebrate, and I'll have a Guinness with it.
You could go to the Amina with Andy.
Oh, not tonight.
No?
No, not out tonight.
We've got a
But
full
you're
day
more
of
than
work
welcome.
tomorrow, haven't we?
We have indeed,
Because
yes.
we're at the
Yes.
game, the Leicester game tomorrow, so I think
Yeah.
we need clear heads.
Yeah, and no curries for me on the gantry.
And you've got to get up early too, right?
I know.
You do know the kickoff is it?
Yeah, I know.
okay.
Yeah, I thought it was today.
We got asked by the Former Players Association because Darryl and myself are going up there tomorrow, and Darren Bradley and Carl Eggs, and so they asked us to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, what? Why are we?
We're cutting the grass.
It was just like a full time thing. It's like
Yeah.
with 9 till when? And then I didn't realise it was a 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like, okay, that's good. We get Saturday evening to ourselves then. So
Yeah, perfect.
Happy days. Right, we'll wrap up the answers before we go to the little brain teaser that we kicked off the podcast with.
Oh, yeah.
So your answers, Andy. We had the dream roomie was Erling Haaland. The dream gaffer was Carlos Corberán. Great answer. Some great answers in this.
I'm not-
Carlos
yeah.
Corberán, the
Do you know what?
Wembley answer. I
I've
like
really
it.
enjoyed yours. It's
Yeah.
been unique.
A little one that's out there as well is the Azteca Stadium. We've not had that.
Yeah,
We've not
yeah.
had that
And the
before. I
goal
like
as well is because it's yours. It's
Yeah.
personal. Honestly, it's been a
what
fantastic podcast.
stadiums did you have? before.
What have we had? I think we've had the Bernabeu a few times.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm not going to say the classics, but it's
you need to have a look at some of the. I'll tell you what. In 10 years' time, they'll all be naming these US stadiums. You've seen the size of those. Some of those that are going up. They're fantastic. So
crazy stuff.
But they got to create that. A lot of it's about the aura of it, though, isn't it? What's happened there in the past?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the history of the place, and absolutely.
So you can build a 150,000 all-seater stadium, but it's not going to have that history.
Which is why I like the older grounds a little bit. You got the feel in there, haven't you?
Yeah.
You can feel the history in the place.
Yeah, even if the tea's cold and
it generally is.
You went for the Rolling Stones and Queen as your pre-match playlist. You gave Andy You beat him. I wouldn't call it a battering. It was a pretty...
Oh, you tried your hardest to help him.
I got 3 out of 5, didn't I?
Poor affair.
Well, I got 2, but one was disallowed.
That quiz in the middle of that was poor show from both, if I'm being completely honest.
To be fair, the questions were really hard. They were really hard, weren't they?
What, the 90s football?
Yeah. I mean,
how many people can honestly put their hand up and say they know who... Did you know? You didn't know that, surely.
Who did it?
He does. 90s foot. Yeah.
What was that one?
You knew that?
What, the England one?
Who their first game was?
Yeah, I'll start writing the questions from now on.
You can tell a football fan from a football player, can't you?
Andy,
the fans know everything about everything.
I think probably 95% of football people, whether it's a fan or an ex-player, would be able to tell you both goal scorers from Man United.
Yeah, I think you're right.
In the 99.
Well, we did.
Well, we did.
I got one.
I got one.
Just edit it. Just edit out Beckham.
John,
and
please don't edit this to cut this out.
Beckham.
Please keep every single second.
To be fair, I've got a little confession to make. Birds told me he was going tea. Sheringham tea. So you battered me.
Well, you need to get Burge on this next week, and because he obviously knows more than we do.
Oh dear.
The perfect team talk wasn't for somebody to shout and scream in your face. It was to put an arm around your shoulder and tell you you're a great player and that you need to do this and this and that more. And the dream scenario of scoring a goal, you don't need to dream it because you've already lived it.
Yeah, love that.
Scoring at
Love
Wembley.
that answer.
Yeah.
Right, just to finish things off, we asked you both at the start, having both played with Bob Taylor, how many goals he scored for West Bromwich Albion across his
178.
Your answer, 178?
It was obviously wrong.
Well, of course it's going to be wrong. I mean, come on.
You got that in before he even finished. 178.
Okay. All right, so there was the 2 against Preston. There was the 3 against the...
If you get within 5 either side,
Over 9 years.
I'll be impressed.
So he had 6 years. 6 years. I was here 5 years, and he was here that start of that year, and he left the same time as me, I think. So that's 5 and 3 more, so 8 or 9.
He scored 47 in one season.
He scored 46, I think.
Or 46 was
that
it? Yeah.
season. Let's say he averaged. Because he did pick up quite a few injuries as well. I mean, when I was here, there were quite a few seasons where he missed a lot of games. And I'm going to say he probably averaged 14 or 15 a year after that. Look at me, I've got such a logical mind, eh? Huh? How many? So that'd be like 7 seasons, 8 seasons?
This is where the maths comes into play now.
Now the logical brain's gone. 80, 120. So it's not far off then what AJ said, I would say. What did you say?
178.
So is it the person who gets closest to it that wins?
Well,
or have I got to get a...
It's not necessarily a competition.
Because if I was going to get close, I'd just say 177.
Just keep going down.
Yeah. So I'm going to go...
Go on, Ant. Give your answer, because this isn't a competition experience. I've got to...
You got to go, haven't you?
No, it's not because of that at all.
He's got a Lamborghini ready. I'm going to say 155.
Okay, is it... Obviously, he's over the ton.
He's over the ton.
Over 100 goals.
Yeah,
He's over the ton.
Yeah. Okay.
Easily.
How easily?
You've both been very generous to him.
Yeah. Because I think he did miss a few. I don't think Bob had a 20-goal season after that. Maybe he did.
130?
34.
131 goals.
Oh,
good shout.
Bob Taylor scored for
Good
West Bromwich
shout.
Albion.
Yeah.
That's still some record, isn't it?
Amazing.
Incredible record.
And don't forget, Bob was also... People forget how good he was at setting people up as well.
Yeah.
He gave me so many assists.
Yeah. I don't think
And
he
not
ever
just
gave me one,
not just a... Not just direct assist, but being an absolute pain for the opposition and creating space for you and all that kind of stuff.
You knew where the net was, that's for sure.
Yeah. So,
Andy, it's been great having you here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry that the message that we tried to relay to you before the podcast didn't get to you, and you came in a little bit cold to it. I think we caught you out a little bit. I'm glad that you beat AJ. Sorry,
I didn't want to think.
No, it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for inviting me in. And when does this go out?
It depends how long it takes for John to edit it.
Okay.
We're looking across at John.
Tonight. It ain't going to take a lot of it.
Is it next week?
This won't take a lot of editing, will it?
March 2024.
Oh, because I was going to say good luck tomorrow, lads, against Leicester. But who knows? That might be Leicester 2024, right? By the time it comes out,
might be next season
in the Premier League.
Let's hope so. Andy, thank you very much. AJ,
yeah,
great
thanks,
to have
Andy.
you as always. Thank you very much.
Thanks. It's a pleasure.